Good day, everybody. It's January the 15th, and the year is 2025. I'm Dexter Nathan, and I just thought of sharing this with you. Something really sort of, when my thoughts are impelled, I feel like I want to share it with somebody. So, this is my way of uh, sharing my thoughts with the others. Okay, let's listen to this and then we'll
Imagine a
talk.
world, your dad is president, where Greenland is, maybe a U.S. territory in the not so distant future, like Puerto Rico, for example.
I'd love to see that. My father understands how to wield America's economic might. He understands how to wield America's military might. He knows how to do these things. He's not a guy like Joe Biden who's a career bureaucrat, never done anything in his life. My father, first and foremost, is a real estate guy, but he understands how to utilize these things for the benefit of both nations. You're going to see the same thing, whether it's Panama, whether it's Canada, and those relationships. He understands how to do that. He also understands who the real threats to democracy in this world are. China and so many other dictatorial regimes. He knows how to play that game better than anyone. And it's time that America actually starts doing this. We write checks to other nations that hate our guts, hate our values, hate our freedom, hate everything about us, and we're writing them checks for billions of dollars, and it inures to nothing for America, for the American taxpayer. This is something and a deal that could be done that my father, I'm sure, could negotiate that benefits both country in a great symbiotic relationship that just works. It protects America, it protects them, it protects the world. Because what we've really realized, Rob, in the last 4 years is that a strong America is not just good for America, it's good for the entire free world. We've seen what happens when weak, feckless, and inept leadership, especially what we've experienced over the last 4 years, when that takes hold, dictators, enemies, bad actors, they take advantage of it. That's the nature of predation. That's a story as old.
So, it's a symbiotic relationship. A nice word. You used that word, Donald Trump Jr. So, what is symbiotic? Symbiotic is it's a relationship between two or more organisms. Uh, it's like saying what is good for the goose is good for the gander too. That's more like a idiomatic or proverb or whatever, probably North American. So when two organisms come together doing something, uh, I guess when it's beneficial to both sides, that's symbiotic. How can I explain this? Okay, I'm a big fan of watching Animal Channel. I like to watch animal behavior more than human behavior. I remember seeing this crocodile comes out to the shore of the river, opens his mouth, and this bird goes and cleans his mouth, because all the meat or whatever he had eaten, it's all. So the bird plays the dentist, picking up the meat particles on his the crocodile's sharp teeth. He's inside. The crocodile's mouth is wide and the bird is little inside. If the crocodile shuts his mouth, the bird is gone. But he won't harm that bird. He knows the bird is helping. And for the bird, it's the food from the crocodile's mouth. So the bird decides to play the dentist, and the crocodile decides to get a free dental clean. So that is an example I can come up with symbiotic relationship. So Donald Trump Jr. Talks about this purchasing Greenland, and it's a symbiotic relationship. Of course, it seems that way in a sense because the Greenlanders, it has been under Denmark. It seems like it happens with any country when you're under in the colonial times. It's very people who are from the colonial countries would know. You're always treated like a second class citizen in your own country because you're under some foreign power. So I don't quibble with that. Uh, it seems like looking at it, it seems like it's not too far-fetched. It might come to pass, which means at some point Denmark might even cave in, because this is not the first time Denmark. If you look back on the U.S. history, U.S. has purchased Denmark, the island that belonged to Denmark. Let me give you the details, and just give me 1 second. U.S. back in it's 1917. The U.S. purchased Virgin Islands from Denmark for the price of how much is it? 1917. U.S. paid $25 million to Denmark and purchased the Virgin Islands. So, and in 1925, U.S. did set up the military base in Greenland with an agreement with Denmark. Now, Greenland has become very, the island itself is located in a very strategic point, either the west or east. On the other side, the far end, it's Russia. On this side, the allied nations. So I can understand what's in my own way. I don't pretend to be like Mr. Know-it-all, and no, I'm just like any of you, but I do just look up information and I try to share it with you. But U.S. has a history of the U.S. became one of the strongest world power, one of the biggest countries with 50 states. But most of the states, a good number of these states, I wouldn't say most, a good number of these states out of the 50 had been purchased from foreign countries. So let's take a quick journey in the memory lane of the history. All right? Okay. I guess you could read as well. This I typed this in my PC. U.S. land acquisition from foreign countries. In 1803, the U.S. under Louisiana Purchase Agreement acquired 530 million acres, 530 million acres of land, territory, whatever, from France for the price of 15 million. This is back in 1803. So what are the when they purchased this, it covered different states. Louisiana purchase included the following territories. Oklahoma, that's a state, one of the 50 states. Arkansas, that's another state. Kansas, another state. Nebraska, Missouri, Iowa. So there are like 6 states there. So with the purchase of the deal known as, or the purchase known as, the transaction known as Louisiana Purchase from Napoleon Bonaparte, because Napoleon, the French emperor, was busy fighting the British on one side, and the other side he was too ambitious, and he wanted to defeat Russia. That was his downfall. Everybody, all this world, the countries that came close to conquering the world, their downfall in Europe has been Russia. Hitler, his downfall was Russia. Don't know what it is. Everybody who goes and pokes a finger in Russia eventually ends up with disaster. I don't know if I'm being superstitious or what. It seems that way. Anyway, 6 of the 50 states in US comes under US land acquisition, and the deal and the transaction was known as Louisiana agreement, a purchase agreement. And then 1819, between 1819 and 1821, US purchased Florida from Spain. Spain has been another, in the colonial times, it's been vying with the other countries. These countries like these, so at that time the colonial powers, the battle was largely between Britain and France, and Britain finally ruled 85 countries, and often it's not always how they acquired these ruling these acquired the power to rule these countries. It was not always through justifiable or righteous means. They pretend like they are righteous. Every form of deceit and I guess you can say unscrupulous elements are involved in this. That's whichever way you call it. The most unscrupulous one would talk as though they are the righteous one. That's politics. So anyways, all that apart, in 1948, the US purchased states from Mexico for the price of, again, 15 million. Oh, okay. Which covers 529 square miles. So what are these states? It's California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, parts of Colorado, New Mexico, Wyoming. So there again, it's like 7 states. And then 1967, Alaska was purchased by US from Russia for the price of 7.2 million. 1867. Okay, I'm sure Russia regrets it now, but then who knows? Nobody can really forecast the future. Everything is a surmise. So today, the northernmost territory in the North America, Alaska, it's one of the US states. Then in 1917, the US purchased I already mentioned Virgin Islands from Denmark for 25 million. In 1925, they set up the military base. So you see, US has a history of purchasing. I guess that's what Donald Trump is trying to do. I don't know. It might come through because it seems like the Greenlanders do not want to be under Denmark, subservient to a power. They wanted to be independent. Maybe they think they are better off being under US. For US, it's a strategic point for a number of reasons. And maybe 200 years from now, who knows? It may be the pot of gold, literally, for US. All that is possible. A lot of speculation here. But I can understand renaming the Gulf of Mexico or whatever, Gulf of Timbuktu or whatever, what's in the name. Like Shakespeare said, a rose that's called by any other name would still smell sweet. So name, you can call, you can flatter yourself, but it doesn't, the name doesn't really make much of a significance. So that I have no comments. And Panama Canal, it was US initiative. they constructed, they built for it. It was a shipping route, and finally it was handed over to Panama. I think back in 19. I could be wrong, in the early 91, 92, I guess 93. If I'm wrong, forgive me and check it out. But I'm vaguely going by my memory. I'm not sure. I didn't bother to check recently. So that's that, Panama. Coming to Canada. Canada is the second largest country in the world in terms of land mass. It was only 41 million people by way of in terms of population. So that, and I guess but regardless, Canada is a big country with a lot of resources, and it's an industrial power. The problem with the low population poses a problem because it doesn't have the consumer power, though it's an industrial power. Like India may have so much economically, so many people could be starving and all that. But India's biggest weakness, which is being the largest population in the world, is will also become its strength. Why? Because when you have 1 billion people, it's a consumer power. Even if every one of them, not forget everyone, even 10% of them buy a candy, there alone, it generates a huge revenue. So consumer power is there. Canada doesn't have that. Though it's an industrial power, it manufactures, you name it, practically everything. It largely depends on exporting everything to US and Mexico largely, right? So this is where the political maneuvering and President Trump is trying to twist the arm, and we don't know how it's going to pan out, but I can say people last 9 years Canada has been going through rough times due to mismanagement, and real, housing market has gone through the roof. Cost of living has gone threefold high. People are suffering, and largely attributable to mismanagement. And so I hope with a change of leadership, if they can bounce back, that would be great. But Greenland, it seems like it might come through. As for the other things, other matters, Canada, of course, I don't know. Very, very unlikely Canada would become part of US. That's my view. Let's wait and see. Okay.